Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to the first edition of Prime Hour for this week. We are very sorry for the late start owing to some technical issues. Tonight on the program, we are going to be looking at the CRM council meeting that took place in Yaoundé over the weekend, at the end of which the resolutions were arrived at, which amongst others states that the CRM party is going to endorse a coalition leader coming out from the consensus of this party. They say they want at least two big parties to endorse a candidate, and that they were going to endorse that candidate at the level of the party. The other resolution had to do with the return to the CRM party of Professor Maurice Kamto, who resigned in the month of June to join Manidem party that was supposed to carry his ticket to stand as presidential candidate. Secondly, we are going to be looking at the ghost town that has been called for the Northwest and Southwest regions against the back to school. Who is going to benefit from this ghost town? What are the objectives, and have these objectives been met over the years? We're going to be discussing this with panelists who are with me in the studio. The CRM is supposed to be represented here tonight. Their representative is yet to join us, but we have Dr. Michael Ndimancho, who is lecturer with some universities in Cameroon. Good evening. Glad to have you.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Coombs. It's a pleasure to be here, especially to talk about the last days. I don't want to call it theological, they call it eschatology. Yeah, the last days, you know, where they say there will be gnashing and grinding of teeth, because those who had prepared for the kingdom of God would be put on the right-hand side of God, and the sheep is separated from the goats. And this is the time that those parties that work hard are going to actually gain the kingdom of God. But then we still see a lot of confusion in the house, and we think that at this point in time we should be able to be cutting our teeth, dotting our eyes this time around, especially now we're talking about the CRM that has made a lot of news in the past months. Even though they are not going for elections, of course they are still a party to reckon with, and every decision that the CRM takes now in terms of endorsing or joining a coalition with any other party is going to be a very, very crucial decision they are taking. And I think that is going to actually influence the elections and the tally at the final end. So we are looking forward to see what the CRM is going to do in the coming days. Thanks so much for inviting me, and my special greetings to the people of Noni and all the fronts of Noni.
Okay, we also have Prince Michael. No, not Prince Michael. Prince Joel Mukage. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Good evening to you, Miss Aliu, and of course, good evening to all the co-panelists. Good evening to all those who watch in my media Prime Television, most particularly to the peace-loving people of Misaje subdivision, Mr. Kumlenat. I said you have a very strong fan base in Misaje. So many people are watching Prime Hour now, watching from Misaje subdivision. And of course, seconds are dying, minutes are going, like Zakarinko, may his soul rest in perfect peace, used to say that seconds are dying and minutes are grinding to seconds, and Cameroon is dominated by one goal. And we are thinking that it is time. We went out October 12th, not only to choose a candidate that's going to rule Cameroon, but there are 12 of candidates in Cameroon that Cameroonians are supposed to come out and decide the one that are supposed to give the country to for the next 7 years. And just like Dr. Ndimancho said, the CRM political party may be out of the presidential race, but the truth is Professor Maurice Kamto is one of those names that call the name anywhere you find yourself, but you always have that impact. And far from that, the CRM political party is one of those political parties that once you call the name wherever you find yourself, most particularly Mr. Liu, within those who hail from the West region, you will not want to joke with the name CRM. And I think that Mr. Liu, for the 2 hours that we have together, we shall be contributing a modest intake into what the political landscape will be looking like, talking most particularly about the CRM, and plus we shall also be looking about the lockdown, talking about back to school. Special greetings to the elite number 1 of Misaje subdivision, Professor Fokalesos Gentry, Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, and to my father, His Royal Highness Fon Thomas Kembuse, who should be watching the program, most particularly to the Misaje people, and we're telling them that we'll be coming down to the village soonest to cast our votes in Misaje. No matter what, we'll be in the village.
Okay, Tamai Jarvis is also part of tonight's edition of the program. Good evening, Ta.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening, Dr. Dimanjo. Good evening to Prince. And special good evening to all the taxi drivers, the bike riders. Today was not easy across major cities in Cameroon, especially Douala, as having a taxi or boarding a taxi or a bike it was a difficult task in the morning, plus the rain. So the back to school in Douala this morning was not easy, and with the euphoria, especially good evening to all those students who made their way to school. As we always say, school is a good thing, learning is a good thing. However, we also want to wish those in the northwest and the southwest region who probably wanted to go out to also exercise their constitutional and universal suffrage or right to actually be in classroom, that courage, my dear brothers and sisters, do not stumble. Though the path may be dark as night, trust in God and He will do the right. I want to wish a special good evening to those who are validly registered and preparing to cast their ballot come October 12, 2025. Like I always tell people, that the only thing that we have legitimacy is that we go and cast our ballot, then we can speak legitimately. Whether we like it or not, no angel will come from heaven to change Cameroon, because some people are expecting to hear Angel Gabriel to come down and say, the angel of the Lord declared unto me that so and so person should be a candidate. Whichever way we want, we will pick among the person that we think they are not. So, who is thou that has not seen it? Let him cast the first stone.
Okay, we start with you, Dr. Dimancho. Like I announced earlier, the CRM was supposed to be represented on this platform. They were invited. Their representative is yet to come. The CRM Council recently signaled its willingness to support a coalition candidate. Is this something that many Cameroonians have been waiting for?
Yes, of course. As I said in my introduction, in my first discourse, I said, you know, the CRM is like in Cameroon. Nobody can deny the fact, apart from the fact that they are not going for elections. You know, this is a party that has stood the test of time. This is a party that many people thought was going to salvage Cameroon from some of the ills, you know, some of the troubles that we have had as far as the opposition parties are concerned. And today, regrettably, we are talking about the CRM as that party that was not able to go to the finish line as far as the election, presidential election, October coming is concerned. And if they have, because after that, we know that declaring a party not eligible for election doesn't mean that that party actually doesn't have anything to offer. We have states actually committed to the fact that the CRM has pulled a crowd, and if you see, we should consider the crowd that Mr. Maurice Kamto pulled in Paris during his outing over there in France. Then we should think that the CRM has a following. If we take into consideration the welcome, the hilarious welcome, with pomp and fanfare that he had here in Cameroon when he was returning from Paris, then we should know that the CRM is a party to reckon on. And therefore, we think that the CRM actually has a following, because this is the kind of following we want to see other political parties have. And if we also consider the fact that we have some candidates who are newly, who are coming newly, and who don't pull this crowd, and who are going for the elections, then we should be thinking that the CRM not going for election is actually a party to actually consider. And considering to go in for a coalition, I think that it is a welcome kind of a call that they are making, because this was our wish, and I would really have loved that this pronouncement of a coalition be given flesh. let it be incarnated, because they are still suspending Cameroonians, and Cameroonians are hungry. They are thirsty for that coalition, and to come and sit in a meeting just as other political parties have done. We saw Fumban. They went and sat in the room, announced a coalition that was never. We have seen with the northern parties that they have been talking about a coalition that has never come to be. On social media, we have seen the trio where people are brandishing Belobua, Maigari, Isa Chiruma, and Mr. Akere Mona, which of course has not come to be yet. And if the CRM, of course, will have wanted to show the example, I think that they will have just announced openly that, okay, we have done our negotiation, we have premeditated, and we have come to the decision, to the conclusion that Cameroonians are ready, wish us to join a coalition, and that we have decided to join in a coalition with this and that party. But just to come and sit and then not be able to feed that hunger, or to quench that.
They say they are observing, they are hoping that parties come together, because talks are still ongoing. Remember that on Thursday I received Jekam Chamini here, who said, was it Thursday or Friday? Yes, he said that on the 13th they were going to announce the candidate chosen to be flag bearer of the coalition. It may be 2, 3, 4 parties, but but CRM says that they were ready to endorse any candidate that is chosen from amongst 2 big parties.
Yes, my worry is, Mr. Cook, my worry is still that it is good, but I'm talking about the last minute kind of things that we are talking, because this is something that is supposed to be pre-planned. You know, we are today around, we are already getting to the middle, the 8th of September, and we are talking about election that is supposed to hold on the 12th of October. Then you imagine that we have just 1 month, and parties are still actually planning, and you're saying you're planning. I think that it will have, before this, because we have that habit of talking before doing. Sometimes one of the best things to do is always to act before talking, because if the CRM coming out will have said, because before having even the meeting in Yaoundé, they have done some preliminary talks and negotiation with other parties, and said that, okay, from that meeting in Yaoundé, it will have gained some meaning if coming out of that meeting they have said, okay, after all the negotiation, after all the inquiries, like the church during the ordination will say, after all the inquiry among the people of God and all recommendations, we have decided that we are going to endorse this particular. I mean, they will have gotten a lot of meaning, because these promises, we have had a lot of them. This is what Cameroonians are now looking. They are taking with a pinch of salt. That when the party will say, we are thinking about a coalition, and we'll go for a coalition, it still looks like a dream, a nightmare. It's too euphoric. It's to us, it's a lot of mirage around the place.
Okay.
And we really want to see something happen.
You want something happen fast? Some critics say forming a coalition might dilute the party's identity. How do you respond to that? Some people think that, okay, CRM is a formidable force. Going for a coalition may dilute the party to some extent.
Mr. Leo, the truth is, after the SDF in 1992, the political party that is standing, I know that what I'm saying may hurt some politicians, but the party that has its grounds as of now is the CRM. Call the name Kamto in a quarter, and even a bike rider stands up. Call the name Kamto in a quarter, and even a woman who is going to buy vegetable in the market will stand up. The truth is, as of now, Maurice Kamto is a force to reckon with. And that Maurice Kamto is one of those individuals in the country who, even though rejected by the Constitutional Council, has a following.
He can still play the kingmaker role.
That's what I'm saying. I'm coming, Mr. Leo. I'm developing. I'm saying that Maurice Kamto is one of those. You will tell someone in the quarter, and the person will tell you, si Maurice Kamto dit va, je vais seulement. It means, if Maurice Kamto tells me go, I just go. It means there are people in the quarters who believe that whether Maurice Kamto tells them join A or B, they don't want to know whether the A is good or the B is bad, but if it's coming from Maurice Kamto, they are going. Now, on the other side, Mr. Liu, from your question, I think that the CRM political party in its resolutions have taken 3 key decisions. One of them is the fact that they want to endorse one of the major political parties.
At least 2.
At least so. When you look at it now, Mr. Liu, it's open. There is what we call inference in language, and there is what we call non-verbal communication in journalism. It means that there are certain signs that do not deceive. Once you see the signs, you're able to understand that this is what the message the person wants to pass. It means that at the end of the day, Mr. Liu, when you talk of at least 2, it's simple. The message is simple. The message is that there is Bello Buba Magari of the UNDP and there is Isa Chiruma Bakari of the SFNC. That's the message that passed. Now, when you look also at it, Bello Buba Magari is supposed to be in Douala on the 13th of September 2025. Like you said, you received Jekan Chamani, whom I respect a lot, on your platform here, and he's a member of the Douala group, the Douala group. And they are saying that on the 13th they have something cooking. And I'm thinking, Ms. Alio, that on the 13th of September, Professor Maurice Kamto, of course, together with his party militants, are going to decide who they will take. Ms. Alio, permit me tell you that when we monitor elections, we discover that it will be difficult, it will be extremely difficult if the opposition can win the CPDM in the space rounds. I'm saying so because Cameroon has 360 subdivisions. I'm not talking about the number of polling stations. Someone raised something today and he was asking, not only me, but was asking Prince that how many polling agents do opposition parties send during elections? It's a question, very important. When you come to my small community, Mr. J, where you have Dumbu, Nkanchi, Chonge, Mfume, Kibo, you go to Noni where my brother was talking about. There are so many villages, I'm very sure, Dr. Ndimacho. So many. It means that it is not the headquarters. Do you have someone who is representing you in that small community? Why? The truth is, the CPDM is represented in all those communities, Mr. Leo. But now, is there the CRM or the MANIDEM or the FDC or the PAL or Serge Matomba, that's the Pews, or the PCRN of Cabral that is represented, or the SDF of Joshua Ose that's represented in these areas? Because at the end of the day, Mr. Liu, we keep discussing elections, but I'm thinking, Mr. Liu, that maybe subsequently you should be thinking of how possible we look at how represented.
We have discussed about what it takes.
Okay,
we have discussed about
Mr. Liu, I was already there.
whether most of those who want to be president they have what it takes to run through a campaign.
Okay, to make my point, I'm saying that, Mr. Liu, that Professor Maurice Kamto, it is an open secret that he will not be a candidate. But the truth is, from all my findings I've spoken, I will not cite my sources, but on the 13th of September, Kamto and the CRM as well as Manidem are going to announce the person that they are supporting for the elections. And I think that on the 13th, unlike what Dr. Dibancho said, on the 13th there's still time, because the elections is on the 12th of October. If on the 13th the party announces who they have chosen, and that will be in Douala, because Bello Buba will be in Douala on the 13th. On the 13th of September,
no, but what Jekam Chamini said is that it's going to be at the.
They will be announcing. Yes.
Esplanade, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, they will be announcing while in Yaoundé, but Bello Buba is in Douala on the 13th. And while on the 13th in Douala, from my findings and from my every indication, while Bello Buba is on the 13th in Douala, on the 13th of September, he will also, in the course of talking to the people, also say where he is and the following is taken along. And I think, Mr. Liu, that once this is done on the 13th, I bet you the political landscape is going to change.
Okay.
It's going to change because Cameroonians now are going to already decipher either to go left or right. And this is coming at a time, Mr. Liu, where the CPDM political party too already has appointed those who are going to manage their campaigns.
Okay.
You know, Mr. Liu, please, let me make my point, sir. You know, we may say that this other political parties have already made their own. But now when you look within the CPD, you discover that they have already said, okay, Dr. Nzimancho, you are the one carrying our message in the Northwest, in Oni. That's why when you look within Donga Mantum, for instance, you discover that the person carrying the message on behalf of the CPDM is Shea Jones Yende. He's the one carrying the message to the old Donga Mantum. Now, within that, they have cracked down. You are charged the mission of this. You are charged the mission of that.
Yeah, we know all of that.
Thank you.
But now the CRM militants say they want a come to back. Yes. Did you see this coming?
I foresaw that coming ever since.
No,
he resigned based on. No. The issue is the CRM is a source. If the CRM as a source says that Kamto has resigned, we just need to believe that's the primary source. So it is not us to question whether he resigned in a context or not. And if Kamto himself, who is also a primary source, says I resign, who am I to question whether he resigned or not? Because it is affirmative by the deontology that if a source has confirmed, we go by the official source. Whether or not he resigned technically, that is a business of another day. On the context, I foresaw this coming because in the political landscape, you see that when he realized that if he had taken the Manda imperative, it was going to be very difficult for his candidacy to move through. So he had to, as a politician, you have to look for other avenues whereby you have to be on the ballot. So he actually went to Madidem to be on the ballot. And that's why you saw that when he actually announced his resignation, the CRM members stopped appearing on plateau, hoping to see if his candidacy will actually say true, and now they will now be campaigning for the candidate Professor Maurice Kamto as a candidate Professor Maurice Kamto. Now the issue now is his welcoming. Yes, of course, it's relevant because remember there is also something remarkable here, that when Professor Maurice Kamto resigned from CRM, we did not see mass exodus from the party as many had expected, because many expected that now that he's not going and there will be a lot of defection. Maybe we are here to see, but we did not see those defections. It means that the party has actually removed some of those who could be on the fence, and those who are currently now in the party are hardcore militants who are now in the party. Saying that he is coming back, yes, of course, he's coming back because he's a big wig of the party, and the party is preparing also for municipal and legislative election, which will be in the next few years to come and few months to come. We are talking about 2026 municipal and legislative election. Now, in terms of the coalition question that you asked, Dr. Dimanjo and Prince, I think that I'll differ a bit with Dr. Dimancho on the issue of the deadline if it is coming a bit late. Remember that we have at least 1 month period to go, and if you look at what the party said they are willing to support a coalition of at least 2 major parties. And now, if they come out now, as Dr. Dimancho is expecting, they will this will have an effect on the coalition. They will be perceived like they are favoring A or B, at the point where if they favor A, B may not want to come now back to the coalition. If they favor B, A may not want to accept the coalition. So they are just saying that A and B, play your card, accept. Then we are supporting. Remember, they are not going to it as a coalition. They are going as an endorsement. Because they are endorsing a candidate to say that, okay, let us vote for this candidate, because they know fully well that if they support a particular party, it risks their municipal and legislative chances, because people will now start joining that particular party as a center. So the only way for them to support a candidate is through a coalition.
What are you saying? Are you saying that if they endorse and this party finally gets power, it's not going to work in its favor?
No, this is what I'm saying. if they endorse, let's say, a party A without a coalition,
and the party without a coalition,
yes.
and that party finally takes part,
Yeah, the party
you
takes,
think that is it not going to affect the CRM in the municipal?
It will affect it massively. But I'm saying that if it is a coalition candidate, that they say that, okay, Belebuba, Chiruma comes together and they endorse that candidate, it will affect it, but not as much as it would have affected it if they had supported just a single candidate. Because this time they are going in as a coalition, like what happened in 1992, where other political parties came together and supported.
Maybe they are going as a coalition. That's what will happen.
Yeah, but it will not affect the party for municipal as if they had just gone in for just one candidate. For example, if they say now that they are supporting Isa Chiruma, and Isa Chiruma wins the election, it will affect their party massively. But if they say Isa Chiruma and Belobuba come together and they say, okay, this person will be vice, this person will be this, it will not really too much affect it as it would have affected it.
You are certainly dreaming. It's going to
no.
It's going to affect history.
No, it will.
Hugely.
No, it will.
You're dreaming.
No, it will.
The dynamics.
Let me explain why it will not affect history.
The dynamics will change because you must understand that most of the persons who are joining, take German is crossing there because he's going to eat. So who becomes president is going to pull.
Let me explain why it will not affect it, because once this coalition come together, there will be power sharing. And the power sharing is among let me land. No. Let me land. If these two candidates come together and they accept on terms and conditions, there will be power sharing. Within the power sharing, Bello already has a party. Chiruma already has a party. Even if the head of that party wins the election, we saw it in the Gambia. Even if the head of that party wins the election, let's say Chiruma wins the election, the fact that Bello is in the government with his party, there will always be that a bit of friction where the MRC has a place. But if the MRC support just a candidate, that candidate, it will affect both ways. But I'm looking at the impact of what it will play.
Now, how do you really think the guys within the CRM were anticipating the return of Kamto, or it's going to create some friction somehow? Because I have read some persons who thought that Mamadou Mota should have been given the opportunity to lead.
You see, Mr. Liu, the kind of politics we play in Cameroon, this decision of Mr. Maurice Kamto coming back as the president of CRM is going to affect that party. Because the Northeast will have thought that this is their time to have a leader in the party. It's not gainsaying the fact that we run regional and tribal kind of politics in Cameroon. And I know that the Northeast, those of the North who identify with Mr. Muta, were already rejoicing that at least we were also going to have somebody who at the head of the party. And well, that decision, yes, was actually signed by the interim president, who is Muta. But I think that from the base, even if people don't say it, it is going to affect them. Well, even though on another side, I will see that, the CRM became something like a religion for the supporters, who say, like Prince said, come to Vajava. I mean, that's their French that they spoke. Come to Vajava. So, and sometimes, but we came at the point where a lot of people now started asking questions about Kamte going, and we are following, because I got a lot of people asking, but you cannot be telling us that follow me, let us go, follow me, let us go, and then we do not know where the terminal is, where we are heading to, but you keep telling us come and let us go, come and let us go, and we are not seeing the headway. So I think that this it is a good sign, but they see him as a charismatic leader who could come back and stir back the spirit, but then it is going to affect. It is going to affect in the sense that I'm looking at now the CRM as that party that is no different from other parties, whereby the leader remains the person who takes the decision and who thinks that he has eternalized himself at the helm of the party, and therefore he thinks that there is no successor in that party. And I usually say there is no successful person without a successor. I now see that in the CRM there is probably no successor, because we'll have allowed Muta thrive Yes, it is not just about one person, one man show, one person in the party. They're now telling us that if Mr. Maurice Kamto was incapacitated today, then they will not have a leader that is going to be able to try to take the party across the Mongolia. I think that they will have had, because with all the support I've seen, if now I understand that the support was for Kamto and not for the CRM. So that is not the issue. It is a very, very big issue that we have to take into consideration. You know, you see, when Mr. Maurice Kamto took over the Manidem, we didn't see that steam that went with, you know, party militants supporting somebody, because now a lot of people I got from, I know, from the corridors where they are not think that the Manidem is not I mean the party, our tribal party, and therefore we don't have to go and support another party that is out of our tribe. So I think that is a lot. They will have some consequences to, even if they are going to endorse. I want to look now at another perspective. Even they are going to endorse another party, the game is actually going to be a very, very difficult one too for the CRM, because this is going to affect them. Now it will depend. Are they endorsing a single party, or they are endorsing multiple parties that have come together in an alliance? This is certainly going to affect them when it comes to elections next year, maybe legislative and municipal elections. And you know, and that is why I actually call that this kind of a decision should come earlier than now. Because when it comes to going with multiple parties in an alliance, there is a lot of you know, discussions that take place, decisions that take place, you know, a memorandum of understanding and all of those. Now getting now is really not going. It may be something that we saw in 2018. Maybe it's going to be a repeat of something where Mr. Keremo now, joined the CRM, and before long, whatever went wrong, you know, it is something that is supposed to be built. It's supposed to be nurtured and matured, and the people, the militants, are supposed to be sensitized about this kind of. Now I see the decision is just coming from the top, and it's coming from the top. The militants actually need to be schooled. They need to be enlightened about this kind of decision. Well, the Bishop of Yagua said, we don't mind. Let what is coming. The snake will take it, the devil will take it. But I really think it should be because there are different kinds of snakes. Because when you get into issue of snakes, there are different kinds of. There are some that don't even bite, but there are some snakes that swallow. So I think that we really need to
we have future presidential elections. When Professor Maurice Kamto comes back, is the CRM preparing for the next presidential election with him? Or it would have been wiser to really start with some other person?
The CRM political party, Mr. Liu, from my own from my readings, I've understood something. We need a CRM political party. It's quite unfortunate that the person you invited for the CRM is not here today, because we would have been nailing a party without someone to speak for the party. But now, one thing I've noticed is Professor Maurice Kamto has understood something. He has understood that waiting till 2035 or 2026 for municipal and legislative will be too long for him. The reason is we saw someone who came in 2018 as a presidential aspirant, as a presidential candidate, and of course at the end did not succeed. And he gave up with two reasons about the Anglophone crisis and the electoral code. The same person comes back in 2025. The electoral code still has a problem, the crisis is still going on, yet he wants to be president. Of course, you know, like my brother Javi said, that there is normally source A, and of course source A is a CRM, but we want to begin to put a lot of question marks on how officially Professor Maurice Kamto resigned from the CRM. The resignation of Professor Maurice Kamto, Mr. Leo, we only saw it on media when when MINAD, the Ministry of Territorial Administration, or the Ministry of Territorial Administration, questioned whether he had resigned from the CRM before becoming a militant of the Manidem. That is now when documents came up to show he had resigned in July. the same man who resigned in July is the same one whom the party is begging and telling him to come back. You know, Cameroon is one of those very sweet countries where politics is politicking. Where you just, when I look at what is happening now about Professor Maurice Kamto and the CRM political party, Mr. Leo, I just feel it's politics. It's politics because one, we are yet, when you resign somewhere, Mr. Leo, you make an official resignation. I was expecting, as a journalist, to get...
It is the resignation letter of the ministers who resign.
Come again?
No, go on, please.
No, you wanted to say something.
No, go on, go on.
Okay. I was thinking that you wanted to say something. I'll give you the time. We're not arguing. I'm giving my point.
I was asking if you saw the resignation letter.
No, but openly they have come out to say they are not part of the government.
The same way the Maurice Kamto has come out and said he has resigned.
So what I'm saying, no.
That
Mr. Tajavis, I understand what you've said. You've talked of source A. I had the privilege to at least have done a training on investigative journalism where a lady came from BBC and trained us. And I was thinking,
diverting from...
I'm not diverting, Mr. Ali. What I'm saying, this is my point. I'm saying that I was thinking that before Professor Maurice Kamto would have joined Manidem, he should have. You know, I think there is something that came out as Article 318, something like that. And I had to corner someone, Dr. Atia Tilarius, and I told Doctor, I said, Doctor, I'm a bit lost. Brief me. What I'm saying, Mr. Leo, is Cameroonians only got to discover that Professor Maurice Kamto had resigned from the CRM when an article came up called Article 318 that stipulated that you cannot belong to two political parties. It is only when the article came up, some of us who have difficulties in reading much, that is now when I read and discovered that the article said that you cannot belong here and belong there.
Can we come back to my question? My question actually says that we are anticipating, or we are hoping to have elections in 2032, presidential elections. Now, CRM members want him to come and take leadership position. Does that really prepare the party well for... I am saying that this is... So, I'm asking you don't want to understand me, sir. Maybe those who are listening are understanding. I'm saying that Professor Maurice Kamto does not have that patience for 2032. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that Professor Maurice Kamto on the 13th of September will endorse a candidate. He wants to enter the government. He's not looking at what you're waiting for. So he does not want to be president, is that what you're saying? He may be. They are programming something. What I'm saying, Mr. Liu, he cannot be the one. Mr. Liu, because Mr. Liu, he cannot be the one. Yes. Mr. Liu, he will not be the one. But he will, if at all, what they are planning succeeds within the coalition, he will be one of those to take a major decision in the government. Because in every transitional government, Mr. Liu, if you and I decide to mount against the government, you may tell me, Prince, once... Mr. Liu, I'm giving a very simple example. When they take power, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Liu, you may tell me, Prince, we are leaving this media house to this media house. But once I will go there, I will be the managing director while you become the editor-in-chief. It is not the good of journalism that is taking me there. It is a post. And that is why one time in journalism, or rather one time in history, it was said that Jongo Foncha was more interested in the post or the vice president was promised him by Aijo than the fate of Southern Cameroonians. Okay. I am saying this, that when you look at what is going on, next year, Mr. Liu, when I look at what is going on, the CRM and Professor Maurice Kamto are not even looking at those municipal and legislative elections. They are looking at changing Cameroon now. And he is very sure that should the agreement, because some of these things, Mr. Liu, go with a lot of undertakings and a lot of agreement, because like I said before, Professor Maurice Kamto as of now has a lot of following. And his followers are just waiting that si Kamto dit que va, je vais seulement. So he just needs to tell them, we have joined Bello Buba Magari of the UNDP. This is where we are and this is what we stand to gain. Okay. do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because if we have to wait till 2032, I don't know how old he's going to be there. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, that's why. Okay, now coming back, what therefore is so urgent for him to come back and take over the leadership position of the CRM?
The issue is, that party has been a party based on strategy.
Okay, it's another strategy.
It's another strategy.
Okay.
And there is maybe an anticipation that there may be a presidential election based on their own anticipation that, okay, maybe this coalition may come together and win, like Barrister Keremuna have said that he is a 5-year transitional president, and maybe based on the term of the transition, which is still being in discussion right now, maybe they are trying to see that, okay, the person that wins in the next 2 years will organize an election.
No, but
I'm just saying
you would need enough time to fix this
I'm just saying because that could only explain the reason why the revered professor is coming back to head the party. That could only be the reason, because a part of that, like you have actually articulated, the next election after this, if all things being equal, is in 2032. Presidential election is in 2032, and in 2032 we are counting 7 years. And if you add 7 years to its already existing years now, the question is, how old will he be? And maybe he's anticipating, or the party is anticipating, because we are not in the dialogue, the Gubahas of what the consultations are right now. We are not. And like what happened in the Gambia may happen in Cameroon. What happened in the Gambia may happen in Cameroon, because as we are seeing, this is where I agree with Dr. Dimanjo, because there's what called the Memorandum of Understanding. The Memorandum of Understanding is a pillar that holds the coalition together and makes them stick together. And once that Memorandum of Understanding is not actually well articulated prior to election time for people to go and campaign, if you just say, no, but don't bother, let's just go and let's just come together and chase these people out, and you win, you have the situation of the Gambia where opposition party within a coalition that brought in a new candidate to go on the street and start protesting, and the president will tell you that I want the mandate as a president of Cameroon to rule for 7 years, not as a coalition candidate. They start having this challenge. So to answer your question, why is the revered professor coming now? It is simple. They are anticipating a presidential election. And anticipating the presidential election, meaning that they believe that they have two possibilities. One possibility is that if in case opposition doesn't, and the current situation prevail, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, something naturally may happen.
No.
And this may happen. They are in that party is a lot of they believe in.
Is this also a very characteristic of opposition parties, where it is very difficult to find a second person? That is, when you are president for life. Are we saying that the CRM has nobody who can lead except Professor Maurice Kamto?
I think I talked about this, and I said there is no successful person without a successor. And if the professor is coming back, it means that he has not been successful. Because being a successful person means that you are prepared someone. But I want to look at another dynamics. You know that power is too sweet. Power is really sweet. There are two things in this world whereby when you guard them and you keep them, you nurture them, you live with them, you are always relevant. The first thing is money, and the second thing is power. And therefore, the thought I have about the professor is that the professor knows that he is going to go into darkness if he doesn't remain at the helm of the party. Because when we talked about the CRM is a force to reckon with in Cameroon. And when we talk about the CRM, we talk about Professor Maurice Kamto. Imagine what Professor Maurice Kamto will become today if he is not at the helm of the MRC. This is the way I'm looking at it. Because he knows that he continues to call the shots in Cameroon as the president of MRC, knowing that MRC has a following, of course, and not only a following, MRC has what we call the die-hard following, whereby there are people who can stand in
the Trump supporters.
The Trump supporters, of course, that people can stand at the verge, of collapse of things. They can stand at the edge of things, and they can cross a river, an ocean, without any fear of. So I think that this is one of the things that he's thinking about, because in this government, Because you should also know that the ruling government, they also have what they call their bête noire in the opposition. And Maurice Kamto was one of their bête noire, even one of the principal bête noire, whereby when he spoke, the government, knew. We have had instances where the Minister of Territorial Administration have quoted him and talked about him and referred to him in many instances. It means that what? He was a very, very passive, or somebody who was like, provoked the government to do certain things, to carry out certain reforms. So, and standing now, and you know that he has always retorted the Minister of Territorial Administration. Each time the Minister of Territorial speaks, he too has his conference. He speaks back. Now imagine that he will feel now like he has lost it all. If now, because one of the first thing that he's thinking about, the Minister of Territorial Administration will start organizing his conferences and talking about this person who was making this. Now where is he today? He's now in the dark, and he's looking at that, and he feels that he will not take that because he wants that ping pong to continue. That even though he is not more, even though he is not going for election, he remains the president of the CRM, and he remains that troublemaker. That person who is an eye-opener to the government to, right the wrongs of the government. And that when the minister talks, he too also talks as the party leader. Because without not being a party leader, how do you speak now? How is he going to speak? There is no platform for him to speak. You can only speak no legal platform, because you can now only speak, and even grant interview that he used to grant in national and international television, he can only do that now if he remains as the president of the CRM. And that is the reason also why he is coming back. But then, coming back to your question, I really think that this now shows the weakness of our politics especially, the weakness of politics in the world. Because when you are there, you know that the power is sweet, you want to continue being there. Even in America, people have loved to be, it's just that they have strong institutions that block them from going further. So now you find that when you are there, you now want to create, that fundum. You want to create that lamida. You want to create that chiefdom. That you now are continuing at the level of authority and looking at others at the level of solidarity, and you want to continue ruling, because when you rule and other people are under you and they answer yes, you are. Now we also want to look at another perspective. The CRM has had a lot of die-hard politicians who went into alliance with them, and a lot of them resigned from there. And one of the things they resigned from there, even though it is unofficial, was that the president was actually somebody who actually wanted to guard his power and didn't want other people to interfere in it. So we also see a kind of a person who wants to rule his thing the way he wants to rule, and he has his guidelines in which he wants to take the party to, and he feels that he is the only one who has that guidance on where he is going to take the party to. And he is also looking at tomorrow. What will happen tomorrow if other elections are coming? He is aiming at 2026, which is also very important for him, and he feels that he has the capacity to galvanize the CRM and give at least that credibility to the CRM in terms of municipal, in terms of legislative. And he sees that he's the charismatic person who has ever been, and who has been taking over the other party to that El Dorado that they're going today. So I think that he is strategizing, and the party, seeing the party has accepted what he's doing, the party is looking at it in that vision. Every party needs a charismatic leader. Because the issue of change too, the issue of change is for its sake. Sometimes what is change for? Because when every party wants to win power, and when you see somebody who stands and he is outwardly audacious, that person who stands and has a vision and he has a following, and two, I'm sure they have studied you to see that the time that he went down to join the Manidep, maybe the party dwindled, and that the support that they used to have was failing, and maybe that is why they have strategically asked him to come back and take over the party.
Okay,
and
we are going to be observing and discussing developments within the CRM party. For now, the council meeting that took place in Yaoundé resolved that the party CRM was going to endorse a a consensual candidate from two heavyweight parties in Cameroon. We are hoping to see that happen, and that the militants of the party have expressed the desire to see Professor Maurice Kamto retain his leadership position within the party. To note that Mamadou Mota is serving as the interim president of that party. We move straight to our second topic tonight, which has to do with back to school across all 10 regions in Cameroon today. Students went to primary, secondary schools as the beginning of a new school year. Our focus will be on the northwest and southwest regions, where we are made to know that a ghost town has been called to foil a possibility for children to go back to school. And the question we are asking is in whose interest today. I'll start with you, Prince. Ghost towns have persisted in the northwest and southwest for more than 80 years today. Who actually gains from maintaining them?
It's a wonderful question, Mr. Leo, and a wonderful topic. Good evening to, I think, John, who is watching from Limbe,
okay,
who sent you a text message saying that Prince is not objective, and at times those ideas must come up. And special good evening to my good friend and one-time classmate, Prince Sofilo, who is watching from Kumbo.
Okay.
He says that it's thanks to Prime R. I'm following messages that we drop in the forum. Prince Sofilo, he's watching from Kumbo. And he says it's thanks to Prime R and my media Prime that is still alive today. It's true. I will not disclose his identity, what he does for a living, but it's one of those who save the nation.
Okay.
And I think, Ms. Aliyu, that, like I said before now, that I'll be traveling to the village, Mr. J, that when I called in the village, I received warnings from those who are there, even from my own family members who were telling me that the terrain is not safe, in that there is no movement back to the village, there's no movement out. Mr. Leo, the truth is, at times when some of us say these things, they will say you have been bought over. I remember saying a story here about a younger brother of mine in Boya, who in 2016, there was something that was said, that even if you write the GCE or you don't write, the certificates will not be valued. That's why a younger brother, Ziran, lost ordinary level that year. Not that he did not write, or rather not that he wrote and failed, but he did not write because there was rumor that if you write, you will. Mr. Liu, you have asked a very good question, and I appreciate the topic. Who does it save? It saves those who call for it. And the irony about it is that those who call for these ghost towns are not in Cameroon. The irony about it is that those who say people should not go to school, their children are going to school. My poor mother in Misaje subdivision. My own brother Jarvis, maybe the sister who is in Way in Menchum, is the one suffering. But those who are there, the MPs, the ministers, their children are in Yaoundé, they are in Douala, they're going to big schools without publicity. They're going to Sase. They're going to schools, Bishop Rogan and other schools. But now, you come up and say, because from what I gathered, Ms. Aliyu, from my findings, when I received these topics, I started making calls. I discovered that from today, the 8th of September, to the 14th of October is total lockdown in Northwest and Southwest. Which means movement can be done only on Saturday and Sunday. From the 8th of today, Ms. Aliyu, to the 14th. Who profits? Who loses? The person who is losing, it is those who are in ground zero. It is not those who are in the diaspora. Those who are calling for you not to go to school, not to send your children to school, not to go and vote, are not in Cameroon, they are in the diaspora. That's the truth, Ms. Aliyu. We should be honest in saying these things, because at the end of the day, I'm in Douala, you are in Douala, Dr. Ntimancho is in Douala, Tamajavi is in Douala. But now, one mama who is found in Menchum, who is found in Ukunoni, who is found in other areas, maybe in Mamfe, in Uyumojo, who is found in Nguti, Who is found in other villages is the one who is trapped. Today is a Monday. Children started school, Miss Ali. I'm sure your children started school today. They started school. Dr. Zimacho, your children started school today. But now, where does the problem lie? It is one mama who is in Misaje, of course. It is one mama who is in Binka. It is one mama who is in Menchum. It is one mama who is in Kumbu. It is one mama who is in Balangi, in Edziki, in Malende. I think, Miss Aliu, that in as much as Nelson Mandela, may his soul rest in perfect peace, said at one time, that in as much as we fight for our freedom, this is someone who went to prison for 27 years. He said, in as much as we fight for our freedom, let us not prevent children from going to school. Why? Because, Miss Aliu, education is the only asset you can give Prince, my namesake, who is your son. It is the only asset you can give Junior. Why? Because if you give them a car, you give them a house, tomorrow, they may not be there. Or they may still take their house and sell. They may still take their house and sell. But once they have their first degree, their master's degree, you will not take it away from them. I think, Mr. Leo, that the call down and lockdown is profiting not the commoner. It is rather acting as a hindrance. You people are calling for change. Cameroonians want change. I, for one, Prince Joel Mokage, I want change. I want change. I want a situation where I should go to an office and nobody will ask me whether you are related to a governor or to a minister. I want a situation where I should sit for a competitive exam, say ENAM, and nobody asks me to connect it and say pay. I want a situation where someone who comes from my village, Misaje, should go and sit for police inspector, officer de police, lieutenant, and they do not ask them the question. So, Mr. Leo, how do we bring this change? When you say people should not go and vote, how do you change it? Indirectly, if you don't go and vote, what are you saying? The message you're passing is that Popia should stay win. That is what the last time I was here, Mr. Leo, I talked about the fact that I listened to Agbobala, who said at one time that 6,500,000 Cameroonians were registered for the 2018 presidential elections, and 3 million did not vote. Because they felt that there will be no change, whether Popia will not win. And that the 3.5 million that voted, 2.5 million voted the CPDM. And only, I'm quoting Agbobala, and that only 1 million voted shared the opposition. How do you change a country where you call for a lockdown?
Okay, how do you change? Some persons argue ghost towns are a form of political pressure. Now, do you still believe that they can still achieve their aim? Is it still relevant today after 8 years?
Political pressure, it is not, and never will it be. If ghost town was political pressure, then it would have long achieved a lot. Let me quote, for example, there was a day we were told that Antonio Guterres was coming to Cameroon, and he is the Secretary General of the United Nations Organization, and we were told that he was coming to Cameroon and that there should be Mamiwata ghost town. Okay, there was Mamiwata lockdown, ghost town across the northwest and southwest region. We were told that the issue is to make him understand that there's crisis, and he came and left. We are counting 7 years. That is 7 years after he left. Was there any change because we used ghost town? Patricia Scotland of Commonwealth also was came to Cameroon, and we're told that there should be Papa Wata and Mami Wata ghost town and lockdown. That the idea is that when Patricia Scotland will visit Cameroon, the media will show ghost town, and she will understand that there is a crisis that needs eminent solution. And the idea about the Commonwealth is that they said they wanted that when Patricia Scotland sees it, they will actually remove Cameroon from the Commonwealth, and because of that they think they will achieve it. Did that stop anything? We are still counting 7 years, because those visits came 7 years ago. We were also told that Musa Faki at the time, the African Commission chairperson, Musa Faki at the time also went to the Unity Palace, that in fact they should be locked down everywhere. There was indeed a lockdown. Did that change anything? There was also a time we were told that the special envoy of the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church was going to visit the President of the Republic to see and to discuss mutual issues. And we read that they should be ghost town. And nothing happened. And the sad reality of this ghost town is that this lockdown, people will die. Innocent people are being killed because of they will say, okay, we have caught blackleg. Why were you moving through lockdown? The innocent people die. Every time there's a lockdown, deaths are recorded. Every time there's a lockdown, deaths are recorded. The question is, like you ask, who benefits and how much of a political pressure are these ghost town or lockdown? I know they will insult me. I know as I'm talking like this, they will say, oh yeah, government journal, oh yeah, oh yeah, I've been bought. But the reality stare us. It stare us in our face. Like someone that you actually defecate on your power and he stares you, the reality is staring at us. Because if Pakistan, Scotland came, goes down, nothing happened. Musa Faki, African Commission chairperson, Antonio Guterres, who is the Secretary General of United Nations Organization, came and nothing happened. And we have been having series of visits. Even when the time that we were told that the Grandmaster was coming, that there should be Mamu Atta goes down, nothing changed. And in all fairness, we are killing ourselves and plunging the nation, the regions in economic quagmire and in economic lacume. Let me come to what happened in the Northwest. If you look at the report that was given, that the Northwest is among the poorest regions in Cameroon. But before this crisis, what was the economic situation of the Northwest? The Northwest was a booming sector for education and also agriculture. The Northwest was, in fact, the Northwest and Southwest region benefited from something that we call educational tourism, which these regions were seen as the epicenter of education, of quality education.
Education was the biggest industry.
It was the biggest industry. And why? How was it a biggest industry? Because it had institutions that actually pride themselves as training students and pupils with moral and spiritual value. That's why you see a parent will tell you that my child is in the Anglophone region studying prior to 2016. And how was it booming? The cities, people who built cities had rent they were collecting. The women who were selling or cook frying pop-off, those small sectors benefited. Also, you see the transport sectors benefited. You see the stores benefited. Those selling books benefited. The farmers benefited because they needed to go to the farm and come and sell. Now, Mr. Ali, when Douala today, when the school started, all major Carrefour, they were actually sandwiched with people like this. This is the first time in my life that I'm witnessing in Douala that in a gratis college like this. And let me like Prince said, the shock reality is that in those Carrefour, you could hear hardcore pidgin of pupils going to school, of students going hardcore. Sometimes I stood in one Carrefour and I asked myself, hey, am I in Boya or am I in Douala? So like you said, who benefit?
Now, Dr. Nimancho, when you say you want lockdown for the Northwest and Southwest regions and all of those who can afford, because the objective is to stop children from going to school, all of those who can afford, get their children to the West,
Out of it.
littoral, yeah, are you actually stopping children from going to school? Or you are just punishing those who cannot afford?
I think that we rather see people with very, very ulterior and selfish intentions, because they know very well that to say there's lockdown, they know very well that those who are able will live out of the region and get to where they can.
We have created more Anglophone schools.
Exactly, more schools. I see here a lot of schools, Anglophone schools now. The one astonishing thing about the industry, as Tamai was saying, was that people forget to know that there are more Francophones now in America, even more than France.
Yes!
People should know that. And let me bring you to this. I'm surprised that in the 21st century, somebody will tell you wants to achieve something and says that they should stop education. I'm looking back at even pre-independence in Cameroon. I'm looking back at people like Kwame Nkrumah, who thrived because he preached education in Ghana. I'm looking at people like Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, who Tanzania tried during independence because he preached education. I am looking at people like Marcus Garvey in the United States of America, who preached Pan-Africanism, and he insisted on the fact that Pan-Africanism will thrive only if people are educated. And I'm looking at people like Mahatma Gandhi, exactly, who thrived in India because he encouraged education, and that education was going to give that awareness to the people to be able to fight for their right. I am looking at people like Martin Luther King, who said his dream was to see the black Americans have the same education as the white, because that was an emancipation for them. And when you are educated, then you have the weak point that disease. You will even go further to talk about Mandela, who says that the pen is the most dangerous weapon, even more than the gun. And then I ask myself, do these guys know what they are talking about? Because I look back in history and I see that most of the radical unions that we had in the past, who sought and got what they wanted, were students' unions. Yes. And if you refuse students from coming together, and then you think that you are going to achieve your goal, you don't know that that goal that you want to achieve, you can achieve through education. Because once you bring students together and you indoctrinate them about what you want, the student carry the thing forward. Who started the Anglophone? Some of the people started the Anglophone problem was the University of Buea, because the students were there, they knew what they wanted, and they went for it, even though they had what they received. Then I asked myself, do these guys know, do they have a strategy? Do they have somebody who actually advises them to do? Because for them it's pride when they say no education for one month, and then they say, and then the goods. I even saw some taking photos of the agencies as people are running out of the regions. From the northwest and southwest, they are running out because they didn't want the Monday goes down to meet them. Who were those running? They were those who were able to pay the price here in the east of Mongo. And now what happens to those who remain? Those who remain are looking at what is happening and now saying, okay, so we are now the shield that you want to use to protect yourselves. And what happens now? They build now into them that anger, that internal anger that has become now what they call the blacklegs. Maybe they do not know. This is what the blackleg concept has come about, that you prioritize other people who are able to do, they have run away. Now if we are here, then we have to leak out your secrets. We have to betray you because we are here for the next 1 month. Where is the food going to come from? Where is, how are people going to live in their daily life?
But it's not only going to affect
exactly the farmers in it's going to come. Of course, when there is no transportation, everything is blocked. So and then people are asking you, do you really want to actually punish us, or you are saying that we are waiting for that deferred independence that you talked about, that independence that you promised, and for over 8-9 years it has not come? I think there is something wrong, that if you really think there was a genuine, or there is a genuine reason to actually talk about the Anglophone issue, then the first person that you have to prioritize is the person you want to protect. Because when you put the life of the person you want to protect on the balance, it means the center will not hold, and it means that it means that things are going to fall apart, and we are whatever the case, even they think that they are succeeding, things are falling apart because they love. Because one of the things about guerrilla warfare, as we saw in Kenya with the Mao Zedong, was that you build that love within the community. It is the community that hides you. Yes, you build the love within the community, that they know that when they are coming, they are able to say they are coming, go and hide. But when you build enmity within the community, you build hatred within the community, suffering and untold suffering too, you build within the community, what do you expect from the people?
Okay, I agree that it is a political pressure strategy, but when you put a strategy in place, there should be an alternative, fallback position. If for 1 month, 2 months, people are supposed to respect ghost town, what are the survival strategy? People need an emergency means to go to the hospital. Are they available? People need emergency. There are lots and lots of things that may happen in the houses with kids, especially kids and women, pregnant women. How do they survive? Yeah, people with terminal diseases, guys who need to go for dialysis and also for others.
Mr. Leo, the truth is, I will follow up, Oliver. I noticed that one of your followers said that those who are calling for the lockdown are not in the diaspora, that are in Cameroon. Fine. If they are in Cameroon, they're fine. The truth is,
the official communiques are coming from the diaspora.
Thank you. Now, what I'm saying, Mr. Leo, is I'm looking at a situation where you fall sick in Mr. J in the integrated health center, and amongst your question, and you need to be moved to Nkambe for emergency, and there's a lockdown. It means the nearest by bank you see tells you, I will not go. Or the taxman tells you, I will not move. Or that you have an emergency in the village today, Mr. Kumlinat, and you're supposed to travel back to the village, and you go to the bus station and the bike man tells you, or rather the driver tells you, we are not traveling. I think, Mr. Leo, that those who have called for what they have called, I'm happy that unanimously, Dr. Dimancho and my brother, Tamai Jarvis, we are agreeing on one thing, that those who have called for this, one, they are not in Cameroon. And two, they do not have Cameroonians at heart. Because if they had Cameroonians at heart, when you say that you don't want schools in the Northwest and the Southwest, either you don't want elections in the Northwest and the Southwest, within on the 12th of October, Mr. Leo, if they don't vote in the Northwest and the Southwest, at that same time, Mr. Leo, vote will be taking place in Douala. Vote will be taking place in Yaoundé. Vote will be taking place in Kuseri. Vote will be taking place in Boya. So, when they gather what came out from where it came from, excluding the Northwest and the Southwest, will it prevent the Constitutional Council from declaring the winner? No. In the same line, people said no votes in the Northwest and the Southwest. We know parliamentarians and senators, as well as mayors in the Northwest and the Southwest, Mr. Kumlenat, who went unchallenged. It means you go to a subdivision, there is someone who wants to be parliamentarian and has no opposition. He's alone. Why? Because the other political party did not go in for fear of unknown. He's an MP today. And the same person has been pushed to 2026. What if in 2026 they still push it ahead? He still enjoys those advantages as an MP.
But the funny thing is, you say nobody should vote, right? Now, when you say nobody should vote another party, they don't vote. And automatically those who are there win. And for the 5 years, you are the same person who is complaining that nothing is happening. I don't know.
Mr.
Do we expect some angels to come and
Leo, this is
all the roads are bad.
Mr. Leo, this is what I was saying. This is what I was saying. I was saying that. I take an example. I was listening to Cameroon calling on the national station. You take Kumbu, Ndu, it's under Bones. You take Ndu, Nkambe, it is under Mark. You think Nkambe, Misaje is under Bufas. When you don't vote and the works are abandoned, or maybe you say we want ghost and want this, and you drive the workers, works are abandoned, roads are discontinued. At the end of the day, is it Pobia that knows that there's no road in Misaje? It's not Pobia. It's not Pobia that knows that there's no road in Kambe. It's not Pobia that knows that there's no road in Du. I am not saying, like Javi said, some people may misinterpret what we are saying, but Mr. Leo, what we are saying is that we have traveled, Mr. Leo. I have had the opportunity to make at least 5 regions of this country. I've discovered that when you go elsewhere, Mr. Leo, what I discovered, and it's a message I'll be taking to my people in the village. I've discovered something. That when you go to certain communities, they are not looking at whether Pobia does A or B, they're looking at Queen Leonard. They're looking at Leo, who is the director of my media prime. They are thinking that we are watching the TV in the village because of him. It is called selective exposure and his personal identity. They are watching the TV not because they want to know whether my media prime does good. I think that, Mr. Leo, that those who have called for this goes down, I don't know their motives. I've read and I've been making calls. I'm saying so because, Mr. Leo, I'm one of those who may be affected of it because I have plans of going to the village. But when you call the village, even those who are in the village are afraid for you. Because they're saying the road is bad, this. How do you stop your own brothers from going to your land? Whereas a Douala man leaves the Edo, goes to Mobibo Nakwangwa. Hey, doctor, go see me, he's moving. The Basama is moving. The Yaounde man is moving. Someone in Kuseri is moving. Someone in Garwa is moving. Someone in Marwa is moving. How do you stop those in the northwest and the southwest? In Boya, Mr. Lou, if you go to Boya today, someone in my 16 does not know him goes down. He goes him to Boya. He goes to Boya, goes to Moliko, goes to Munya, goes to Bojongo. They don't have them problems. But now, within the northwest, without stigmatization, our brothers will take it and keep it close to their heart. I say, they don't talk, say, Munogo. And that's why I was reading something, I think it came from the phone of Nkwen, who was saying that no ghost towns on Mondays. I think, Mr. Leo, it is high time we, the Anglophones, we understood that we are the ones suffering. If we want change, let's go and register. We have registered. If you have registered, yes, go and vote. You can only change from the ballot box.
Yep. No, this is political pressure that those calling for ghost town want to put on government. Yeah, but should we actually pursue political objectives, sacrificing our children? Because what we are doing here, asking children not to go to school, is using the children as a weapon to attain our political objectives. Should children not be put out of this?
The thing is, if this was a genuine political pressure which doesn't affect the lives of those children,
you are using your children as shields to obtain what you want. You have gone to school. You are a doctor. You are a professor. You have almost everything. You are a driver. You are working. What else can you give to your child?
Shield is even better. They are using them as they are sacrificing them. In fact, they are killing them. I could use Prince as a shield and nobody attacks me, but this time you are killing them. Why are you killing them? You are killing them because, let's take from 2017, September 22, 2017, till now we are about 8 years. 8 years, a child born within 8 years, that child was born in September 22, that child from 8 years till now, that child has not been able to go to school. Now, if the child was 10 years, the child now is 18 years. We're talking about 18 years. And you know what the 18 years gap will look like? If that child was about, let's say, 20 years, the child is 28 years. Now, how do you reverse? It's a chemical reaction which is not reversible at all. Now, if you had said that, okay, the political pressure will be that, we have seen other movements. Let me give examples. The FARC rebels in Colombia. The FARC rebels in Colombia, who fought for 20 years and virtually realized that they cannot actually divide Colombia, decided to go through a political movement. And through their political movement, one of the rebel leaders automatically became a strong person within the government and actually had a voice. Now, let us also look at what is happening in other nations. In Ethiopia, we have the Tigray region. The Tigray region, people did not actually sacrifice the education. There is a conflict in Ethiopia, in the Tigray region. The one in Amhara region is also there, but it's also not affecting education. Now, when you put schools as a leverage of a political pressure, then you have missed the very fabric upon which you are fighting for. I know some will come and tell us on social media that I don't know what you don't know what you are saying, and these are the some faceless individuals who are on social media who are elsewhere. Some of them are even in Douala schooling and are there making some kind of rhetoric. The truth here is that if our children don't go to school, what we have or we lack is that we will not have medical doctors. If you look at the literacy rate now in Cameroon, if a decade analysis of the literacy rate in Cameroon is conducted per region, it will tell you that in the next 5 years to come, those in top positions may not be origins from the northwest and southwest region. Why? Because they will not have the educational know-how or the educational skills and competency to man these offices. I give an example. Just take 8 years. Let's take 8 years, not so, Prince. education have been grounded in the north and southwest.
Yeah.
Let's assume that all things was equal. Within the 8 years, have they not been launching concours? They have been launching concours.
Are they not Jews? Would you stop it now?
Are they not Dinam? Are they not Jews? The same you say that, oh, there's marginalization. That same you are marginalizing yourself from being marginalized. That is, you are actually marginalizing yourself from the marginalizer, which means you are the marginalizer in chief. Because if you say that schools should not go, they should not operate, that till you reach Boya, we are 8 years counting now. Concours are being launched. Medical doctors, these same people, when they get sick, these same people, they get sick. These same people who are fighting now, they get sick. Who treats them? An average number of time to train a medical doctor in Cameroon is 7 years. At least 7 years. Now, the crisis has been on for 8 years. So, which means you have lost a generation of medical doctors. For that generation, you have lost it. So, who treats you now from the disease that you have? An average time to train a pharmacist in university is 5 years. Now, we are counting. We have wasted one batch, so which means that if all things, let's say we're not going to school, or some people had no means of going to school, what are we saying here? And Dr. Dimanjo said something which I have been singing, and I want to repeat it, that when you carry out this measure, we are killing the people revolt back. Even a goat, when pushed to the wall, can bite. And this is it. In 2017, when thousands went to the street, they were singing, everybody was okay. In 2001 October, when arms started revolving, you started hearing, oh, our boys, our boys, our boys. Do you know why they were calling them our boys? You see, when they would cross through Munya Market, the women would shout, oh, our boys. Do you know why? It was because they were not kidnapping. At the time, they were not actually carrying out massive kidnapping. They were not black leg syndrome, and the people were okay. As they moved to early 2018, they intensified the crackdown on schools, because at that time people were not being victimized of going to school in early 2018. Now, when they started victimizing people, started kidnapping people, it moved from our boys to the boys. Now that boy them. As things went in 2019, where you saw the people were being, like in Gozan, where some 2 people were brought to the road and shot. Because of blacklism, the issue of blacklism became a center point. Why? Because when you are depriving the people of necessity, they now allude and collude to the people that you claim that are bad. They take the lesser evil. Like in the doctrine of the Catholic Church, Dr. Dimanjo, is that you look where the lesser evil, which of them is the lesser evil, and you implement, which is the same thing. The people see that, okay, you said the military is bad, but the military doesn't carry out the kind of things that you are doing. Yes, it carry out your own. It doesn't carry out. So I prefer to go to the military than to actually, and that's what brought the issue of those boys. It moved from our boys to those boys, and that's why you see the non-state actors started dying in their numbers, because the people could no longer shield them because they're angry. So this act of saying no school is not only affecting the students, the farmers. All of us here have been to farm. There are some crops that you need to take care of 3 days. You say that people should only go out on Saturday. What of those who have planted their huckleberry, which is known as the African nightshade? The huckleberry that they need to take care of the huckleberry. And what of those who have actually planted their Venunia and Magdalena, which is their bitter leaves, so that they have to actually go and take care of, so that it doesn't wrap, because when it wrap or insect infect it, you will not have fruit of those 3 months crops. What of those who are having terminal diseases, who probably have cancer, who need treatment to prolong their lives, those who have dialysis, who need to prolong their life? What of those who be having emergency that need to be carried from the court? We have seen cases where people are taken from emergency cases to the hospital and they are killed before even reaching the hospital, and the question is, who first sent them for outside? That was what they were saying. At the end of the day, the entire sector, you are grounding the entire sector, and the only achievement that they will achieve is say, oh boy, we don't lock down. And at what cost? And this is the strategy, the way out. The way out, like you said, that what is their strategy? What should be the strategy? The way out is political. This is an election year. You need a political voice. In all freedom movement, they always have a political voice. They go with rationale. Pick a party or open the floodgate that, okay, campaign should hold. Whoever wins will not leverage on the person. In fact, these people should be the number 1 people to maintain that there should not be disruption of voting in October. In fact, Mr. Low, I'm concluding here today that those people who are calling for lockdown from the 12th to the 14th of October love President Paul Biya. Yes, who starts today? They love President Paul Biya, because if they did not love President Paul Biya, they will not hold this goals, and they want President Paul Biya to win. They are claiming they love President Paul Biya.
Okay, let's look at back to school. We already said that when you put lockdown in the southwest and northwest regions, those who can afford move their children to the west, littoral and center regions. Some are even in the east, south across Cameroon, and they are going to school. Your objective of not wanting people to go to school, they end up going, and maybe the objective was also to protect or uphold our Anglo-Saxonness. But now, when almost everybody is coming to live in the Francophone area, are you not rather solidifying the union and destroying what you claim to want to protect?
Well, exactly, because it baffles me, because these people are talking about bijuria and the bicultural. These are values that are guarded by intellectuals, those who know something. You go and tell somebody who has not gone to school for maybe 10 to talk about bijuria and bicultural. What does the person understand back there? So I think that they should be preaching this to those who have gone to school. And when you stop them from going to school, they come to this other side of the Mongo. They go to their school. They get assimilated, let me call it that way. They get assimilated to the system this way. At the end of it all, you are left to illiterate up there. Because this is the intention, that at the end of maybe 10, 20 years we'll be fighting the war, only the result that you have illiterate. And then when you have those illiterate, where are you going to start from? When you destroy all, where are you going to start from? Or do they have some kind of magic wand somewhere that they are going to bring some people to inhabit the area? This is the question that we're asking. We have had a lot of people, economic operators, who I've met many, who tell me that to hell with the northwest and southwest region. They have actually built their homes here. I saw a house somewhere at Lopoma. I was doing sports the other day, and the house there is written home away from home, and it was an Anglophone home. I mean, I went there, and a very beautiful house. Well, people, you think that you come and invest, and then at the end you leave this investment to go to where it has been destroyed? You cannot. And then I say the second thing. You want people to, the Anglophones, to actually reassert their identity, but you go on attacking, you go on killing, you go on kidnapping those you really think that can help. I'm thinking about people like Cardinal Toomey. This is somebody who stood for the Anglophone cause, but you kidnapped him. I'm thinking of people like John Fundi. These are people, a person who has, vehemently said he doesn't want the blood of Anglophones, and he had. And you see, one of the things that we fail to understand is that John Fundi was a colossus as far as the Anglophone identity was concerned, because with him, a lot of people feared us. With the SDF too, a lot of people feared us. But now you have destroyed, that scare crew that scared away people from us, and now we have been left like people without an identity. We have been left with like people without any security, and this is what will happen. And then you come and tell us that okay, we are going to lock down, and then at the end of it all, we are going to build back. You and who you are going to build back? That my job is even giving derogated appellation that they started with our boys. Now it is the boys. I even want to go further. Do you know that the word amber now is a derogative word? Now they call them the ambas. It's no more the boys, even no more our boys. They call them the ambas. And once anybody up there now hear the ambas, they are running away, because they think that the amber is something negative for them. It's no more something positive. So these are some of the things that we have forgotten to think about. And then you will not put your brothers and sisters in this kind of, you block the routes. Even when there is no ghost town, sometimes you block the routes. You don't want people to get into the economic activity, and then you tell them you want to kill them first, and then you come back and build. Who to inhabit the areas is a very, very big question all have to. And I keep on saying, like the accent that they cause on schools. You know, in 2004 there was George Bush, and crime was committed in the school area in Maryland, the USA. George Bush, the first statement in the morning that he came to address the nation, as you usually do when there are incidents occur, he said, schools are sacred places. Schools are temples. And anybody who touch on the school, touch on every American individual home. What does it mean? It means that anybody who touches a child in school touches everywhere, and that everybody is supposed to be.
When you say nobody should go to school and that nobody should go out and vote, and at the end of the day, the CPDM wins everywhere, are you not indirectly just taking the votes and handing to the CPDM?
I think it's Tah who has said vehemently here that it appears they are supporting the CPDM and Pobia. Because in 2018, they did the same thing. What happened? The presidential election went very well. There's no village down there in the northwest or southwest that I didn't hear that election didn't go on. There's no one village. Despite all that they did, election went in all the villages.
We saw President Weber.
Yes, of course. It was counted. Even right down to my village, it was counted that election went on. In 2020, there is no council or municipality or legislative area constituency where there is no parliamentarian. Is there? 2020 there was election. Exactly. There is no constituency without a parliamentarian in North and South. There is no council without a mayor in North and South. To show that they miss out on things, and that no matter how they say that there will be no election, there will still be election, because in this case now we are accusing them. We have even heard about one of the leaders of who is having a picture of Pobia. I read something on Facebook that there's one of their leaders who is guarding the picture of Pobia in his abode. And now we see that there is some intention, because they know very well that they cannot stop election. There is no way you can stop election, because you must always have a result in some of those areas. Now, when you come and say people should not go out to vote, it means that you want to punish indirectly. You have a problem with the other parties. That is why, the reason why most people say that they kidnap Nigel Food is so that, they should have a leeway for the ruling party to strike through. Yeah, that hypothesis is true. So you say no, it's not proven. No, it is not proven, but that is what is happening. Yeah. When you say there is no election,
say speculation.
That's why I call it a hypothesis. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a hypothesis, and I'm saying that hypothesis, of course, because when you look at it, in the first place, we are looking at the data before 2018, 2020, where the SDF used to thrive in most of this area, and now after that, when this happened, now it was a different party that took over. What are we saying? We are saying that they did that in order that this may happen, and that in 2020 or 2025, as we are today in December, we may still have the same scenario, because they have not changed their motive. It is still the same issue that nobody should go out and vote. That on the 12th or after the 12th in the evening, we hear President Weber coming out from every village and from every home saying that these people went out and vote, and that they are counted the vote in the north. Even yesterday, I heard about how many people registered in Boya, and of course, more that registration is going to be voted. People are going to vote, those who have registered. So you are punishing people unjustly, because we say that voting is actually a right that everybody should get. If you really think that the people have accepted their cause, fine. There is no need forcing them not to go and vote. You know that not a vote is a vote. Just let the people express their will and say that we are for you. We are not going to vote, or I'm going to cast a no and vote ballot to say that I'm not for this election. Now, but when you put people under duress and you tell them that no, you should not vote, because you know that when they go to vote, everybody will go out to vote. It means that there's no problem. It means that you are not representative. It means that you're not representative, because you are representative, you will not force people not to do what they are supposed to do. So I think that our brothers who are orchestrating this should have a rethink. If there is, they have their genuine reason, the war should be between the barracks. They should leave the civilians alone. Let the war be. I have no issue with anybody fighting this war. I have no issue. I've never reviewed anybody fighting this war. But the war should be between the barracks, and that the civilians who are very peaceful should be left to go about their daily duties. The children who are supposed to go to school, let them go and attend to that temple. The temple is a place of worship. When you hear a temple is a place of worship, it means a quiet place. It's a spiritual place. And the schools are referred to as temples. And therefore, these temples should be sacrosanct. These temples should be holy. And that even holy places are places that are not trespassable or with radical objects. And please, let people be free to express their opinion as we have always been. We are peaceful people. And you see, the Anglophones who have come this way, look at how they are beautifying all around the places. They are now the one investing. A lot of business places are booming in Douala, especially because they have all those businesses have been brought down. What do you talk about that? Are you now going to say that those Anglophones are not more part of the Anglophones? Of course they are. But they have just come now, and now they have empowered more. They have empowered the Francophone side of the coin. And what are we going to say tomorrow? If we say there's a referendum and that people should vote whatever they do, what you'll be shocked about that. And therefore, I'm begging our brothers to let people express their civic rights, their political will, and then you will see whether they love you or they do not love you.
Mr. Leo, you know that those who are pushing for this lockdown, they are supporting President Pobia's vision of what he said in Mo Ibrahim's interview, because when you saw the image coming from Bamenda, if to the ghost town, people were paying 4,000 to leave Boya on Sunday, to leave Boya to come to Douala. 4,000. Now they are paying 4,000 to go and be assimilated, because whether you like it or not, we who have been here in Douala for over 10 years, when I go to Boya, accidentally I speak French. Accidentally. Taxi, he accidentally they don't want me to, hey, I'm in Boya. And let me tell you, all of our children who are born here, the children who are born here,
Oh, they go back.
do you think they'll go back? About 80% will stay here. And who are those who are go to villages? Go the biggest before you had GTH, this technical high school in Bamenda, which is Canada. There was another GT. There was a big technical school in Bamenda before that one. That technical school is in a shadow of itself, and equipment that were placed in that place in Bamenda. And like Dr. Dimancho said, all those who are saying that, oh, they should be locked down, I am saying it categorically, they love President Pobia. Because come October 12th, ballot will be casted and there will be result at the Constitutional Council. If the Anglophone crisis picked its team at the parliament, it was because a member of parliament known as Honorable Joseph Wiba, who was validly elected in Kumbu, took the center stage and said, Mr. Speaker, something is happening in my area. If there was no election, who would have actually made the parliament to actually head of this? That is why I'm saying that if you love the Anglophone people, you want to advocate, instead play and protect that there should not be anarchy during election day, such that the people should actually choose someone that can be a political voice. It is sad that we see people who are actually advocating but they don't have a political voice. In other nations you have a political voice. You are supposed to allow it, because if you say there's road are bad, who should fix the road? You don't have electricity. The people in Munya till now they're crying electricity. They're crying electricity. Those same people you claim you are fighting for them, they want to come and fix the light, you stop them from fixing the light. You kidnap those who are fixing the light. We are not saying that there's no problem, Anglophone, there's an assimilation, but you are the number one assimilator, because as you are pushing people from the northwest to Littoral, those who can afford, people are paying 4,000 to go and be assimilated, whereas we were the ones gradually assimilating those who were coming to our schools. My brothers and sisters, you may insult me, say whatever I want to say, I don't care, but there will come a time when you will reason that what I was saying was not out of emotion, was based on fact, which is the fact is that you love President Pobia. Okay. And if you did not love President Pobia, you will not actually say that people should not go and vote.
Okay, now, beyond education, what broader economic and social costs are ghost towns creating in the southwest and northwest regions? Dr. Dimacho, or you want to come in here? Yes.
No, I'm not coming in. He spoke and
okay.
was the one
So,
the economic impact are enormous, Mr. Liu. First of all, Jarvis has said something. I remember that as a young man in secondary school and in high school, we used to pay 3,500 francs from Mr. J to Bamenda. So there is 20,000 francs. There's 20,000. Not because the road is bad, not because fuel prices have added, but because some group of persons have decided that there should be no movement. That's one of the economic impacts. Secondly, as a young man growing up in my small community called Mr. J, A bottle of beer used to be sold just like anywhere for 650 or 700 francs. Today it's 1,000 francs. In my village today, for you to buy even a juice is 1,000. Anything alcohol is 1,000. Those are the economic impacts. Far from that, Mr. Liu, there is also this increase of the how do I put it? Social amenities. Social amenities, because there are certain things that you could easily get. Say you want to buy a dress. You could easily get a dress at a very affordable price. But today, these are dresses that people just left Mr. J went to Bamenda board or went to Bafusaman board. But today they need to go for long distances. Not only long distances, but they pay huge fare. And now when they come back, the consequences are there. Also, Mr. Liu, the social aspects that the crisis may have brought is there are children who are supposed to be in the classroom who are not only in the classroom who are pregnant today. Some are mothers. They have children. I think, Mr. Liu, like Doctor has said, and like my brother Jarvis has said, I do not know the reason or the raison d'etre behind those who are calling for ghost towns. Mr. Liu, if you gave birth to a child in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, the child should be 9 years today. 9 years is enough time. That child should be moving already. The child should not be creeping. I think that it is time that we went back to the balance board and the balance sheet and asked ourselves, for the time that we've been calling for this, what have we achieved so far? Has the message gone to the targeted audience? Because of course, that's what we want to call, there's always a target audience in any message. Mr. Liu, from 2016, in 2018, elections were held, Paul Biya won. Jarvis has said it and it's true. It's very true that people attack him. Oh, he has been here. Because that's the situation of Cameroonians. Cameroonians are that you should come here and say that Amba correct. That's why they don't say school not a good thing. That's it. That's how Cameroonians
but the question,
but the moment, yeah, tell you.
The question I ask is 20th May, they say 20th May, when there's 20th May, they say there's ghost town. The 20th May is celebrated.
Yeah.
Nations Cup, you say ghost town. Nation Cup is hosted. Almost everything you said. At the end of the day, all these things happen and still
Mr. Liu,
you are not changing strategy.
Mr. Liu, this 11th February that passed, I was in Misaje. I covered the 11th February in Misaje in my village. There was a march pass. Everything went well. The different schools came. On the 20th of May, I was privileged to accompany a delegation. I went to Nguti. I was in Nguti with OK Johnson of Senash. I went to his village in Nguti. It went well. Even if it means it happened just for 1 hour, it happened. I don't know if you understand. It happened. I was in Nguti on the 20th of May. Now, what I'm saying at the end of the day, Mr. Liu, is you are doing those things. Who is suffering? The man leaves Yaoundé, comes to his village, does his one-man show, goes him back. Yaoundé knows they held. But you, those of you who are there, you are suffering. You lost stores. And when I discovered in Nguti, when I was in Nguti, there is a petrol station, a filling station in the center of the town. It was locked down. And now, when the boss of the town comes and says, I've been told this way, I've been locked down. If you want to open it now, I'll seal it forever. They open it and people start consuming. When he goes there, if you can't lock it, has he not gone back? I want to think that Mr. Liu, like you have asked a very good question, Mr. Liu. Our brothers have a long, I don't know how to put it, we have a long way to go. The ideas, this is a purely political year. The different ministers, the parliamentarians will go to their villages, do their campaigns. Whether you vote or you not vote or you don't say no, if I vote CPDM will chop vote, at the end, if CPDM wins, he goes him back to Yaoundé. Who loses? The same 100 francs. Mr. Liu, if I shock you, there are days I've called you, Mr. Liu, that Gamfa, if you gave him 2 times, you have sent up for me. I have people in the village who cannot afford 100 francs to buy one fighter. That's the economic hardship of this crisis. These are people who used to go about their different activities. But because of the crisis, it is difficult. Life is hard. And I'm thinking, Mr. Leo, that these are our brothers who have called for the crisis. I'm adding my voice with that of Jarvis. You're not helping the common man. You're not helping them because I'm in Douala. Even if it goes up, it comes down, I will not have what to eat. But I'm thinking that those who are down there, that you have told them that from today, Mr. Leo, the 8th of September to the 14th of October, Monday to Friday, no movement. Imagine the economic impact. Imagine the social consequences. It means that if there is a woman in my village, Mr. Joe, who is about to be, who wants to put to bed and needs to go through operation and needs to rush her to Mkambe.
You are saying that she should wait till Saturday.
You are saying that on Monday she should wait till Saturday. Then she will not only lose her life, but she will lose the child. Who is losing?
And you pay now more of that later.
Mr. Leo, let us rethink this project. The project, like Javi said, I was in mile 16 in 2016 in Boya. I saw parents come out and contributed things and gave the boys. I saw it. They did not tell me. Why? Because the parents identified. They told Mami Areo used to give us 730, 7 pop-off and beans for 30 francs. 100 francs you ate your pop-off and beans in my 16 those days. The boys came out and said, Mami Are, we know the worry na you. Became fair pop-off for the worry na government. Mami Are could give them pop-off. The population could give them things. But now when you look at what is going on, Mr. Leo, I'm afraid. I remember that, Mr. Leo, even when you used to have me on this platform, I used to be wild. Why? Because I identified with something. I saw a project.
Okay.
I saw a project and I felt that the project was going to sell. But what we are seeing today, Mr. Leo, the truth is a group of people, for their personal interests, have hijacked something that was supposed to progress the Anglophones. And as you said, their children are going to be
we have the time. I just want to ask a simple question. What could be the essence of ghost towns today in the northwest and southwest regions?
Well, what essence? Apart from the fact that it's for personal aggrandizement. That is the issue. And one interesting issue that I want to reveal here sometime is that most of the guys who are calling for ghost towns are carrying out a lot of projects there in the northwest and southwest. Why? Because there are a lot of kidnappings. Now you see that it is for selfish motive that they are even calling for ghost town and all of these.
No only kidnapping, pay fine.
Pay fine, all of those. And where is that money going to? They are constructing. We have had leakages from the military where most of them are caught. I mean, one of the letters was, I got that when one of the leaders was caught, he was caught and his phone, over 70 million francs transaction went in, through his phone. I got this from the top, someone who revealed that. How did that money come about? And some have been caught while constructing very big mansions over there. So it is about my struggle. According to, let us not call our struggle. It is my struggle because then they are using us to build their own personal program. And one thing I keep hearing from them is that, at the end of it all, the people know exactly what they are doing. And I'm afraid that they may turn against them someday when things get sour. So why, if you really think that you need the people, you care for the people, then the growth should be collective, not that you should be growing alone. We have heard even cases of others. I mean, I was privy to inform that some even come and build back here in the Francophone section. That some are building construction in the Francophone section. With that place where they say they don't want any union with them, but they are constructing in this east of the Mungo. So you really now see that there is no real essence about it, apart from saying that people just want to grow, people just want to make themselves rich, people just want to make themselves relevant, people just want to make themselves, the lions of the area, and to think that they should command. It is this, and these things also, there's also a boomerang about all of these, because when we started this, and those who are spill blood, and I keep on saying, when I have an opportunity to talk to some of them, which I do, I say, please, you could do anything but don't spill blood. Because once you spill blood, you know that you are not safe. I remember one told me, yes, if I die, another person will take over from me. For them, it is a continuous fight for them. But there are fights. We have had fights in this world which have not continued. Let them also think about that. We have had fights in the world that have not continued. So don't think that it will be the exceptional that of the Anglophone that is going to continue forever. You cannot, a dog cannot protect his master and at the same time bite him. You cannot say that you are protecting your people and at the same time you are biting them. So we see that it is all about personal interest. And we also going to look at the people who are supposed to be our people that we are supposed to guard, and they are the people that we are hunting. It means that what? We want to fragilize everything that happens in that region. When you want to put down everything that goes in that region, even the people who are worth it, people whose were of renowned status in that region. What are you saying? You are saying that since you didn't progress in life, I don't want to see another person progress. That's why you're putting them down. And that maybe since you were not educated, another person should be educated. And since you didn't have this economic power, you want to put down the person who was struggling. This is all what is happening. Because we hear a lot of business people being kidnapped, a lot of business being seized, and all of those is because we have become our own enemies. And we are putting down our people. And you tell children, don't go to school. What becomes of the children tomorrow is you alone. You know that when you come to a negotiation table or when we come to that independence, the children should, go. You send mothers and fathers back to school so that you should come back and be able to enjoy the independence they are talking about. I'm asking myself that in the 21st century, where people are supposed to do everything with education, because the world now is digital, the world is the world of intelligence, education, and all. And then you tell people that no, we don't have to go to school because of issues of elections. What are elections going to do with us? What are elections going to do with education? What are elections going to do with the people? That election, even for 2016, the very people were winning. Those people that are thinking that today you are going to prevent them from winning.
And instead, people who said they never want the election were watching they took their back off.
That is the thing. So it is really something that we think we should condemn. That you should know that it is not a strategy that you are using. Right? That strategy you are using against your people. Because that very election, since 1992, we have been having elections. We have been seeing how elections have been following. Now you are worsening the situation. Because at least since 1992, we could even go out and vote, and we threaten somebody with the vote that we have cast. But now you have said we should not vote, and now the person now is taking it all and telling you have asked them not to vote. We are going to take everything from you, and there is nothing you are doing about it. Because I keep on asking myself, why can you now? Because I keep on talking about war between the barracks. Why? You know where these people are. You know where the governors are. You know where the gendarmeries are. You know where the commissariats are. You know where the checkpoints are. What is the problem with the people that you keep on putting down and telling them they are not supposed to do this, they are not supposed to move from their houses, they are not supposed to go to school? Why don't you go to the people directly? And that is what I've been crying all of this while. And I think that we need to educate our people and empower them.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Prince, for coming.
It's a privilege to be on your platform, Mr. Liu, and of course it's a political season, and we are calling on those who are calling for ghost towns. We don't know their motives. We've had to ask of telling them that it's not a good idea. Special good evening to the peace-loving people of Mr. J's subdivision, the land where I come from, and I'm assuring them that come rain, come shine. It's true that I've called for lockdown, but we'll be down in the village who are going to cast our votes come October 12th. We'll be down in the village. And most special greetings to His Excellency Professor Fukalistus Gentry.
Thank you for coming, Tah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum. And my appeal is that our brothers and sisters who have nowhere where to go in the northwest and southwest region, please be wise. You know your environment. You know how to keep yourself safe. Don't put yourself at risk, because during this period like that we see that unnecessary collateral damage occur. And my appeal to those who are also